Hello, and welcome to a video for Grade 12 Essential Math on how to use cosine law to solve for an angle. Cosine law is used to solve non-right angle triangles, so for a triangle where we do not have a 90-degree angle in it. Now, cosine law we looked at in the last video as a little bit trickier formula. In order to solve for an angle, we're going to use this formula. This is the exact same formula as you used to use cosine law to solve for a side. However, it's been rearranged. In this case, we've already done the algebra to rearrange this to make sure that you're solving for the angle. This saves you a little bit of work, so it's worth writing down both versions of the formula when you're looking at your study sheet. And double check on the formula sheet because it should have both versions of the formula there. In this case, we're looking for angle A. In order to switch this up, if I want to look for angle B or C, the easiest way that I've found is to just change the labels on your triangle so you're looking for angle A. You can use this formula where you switch up A and B or switch up B and C, but you got to make sure that you get the formula correctly. So I think it's easiest to just look for angle A and relabel your triangle. And let's look at an example here. So in this case, I've got an old exam question, and we've got someone named Hansel is using a model to build kites. And he's looking to solve for this angle here. So that is angle A. Convenient because we're already looking for angle A. Right away, I need to label this triangle. So this here is A. I'm going to call that B. I'm going to call that C there. Great. I don't need the not shaded part of the triangle here of this kite because I'm not using that. That would make this here side A, because it's opposite from A or not touching A. This would make this side B, and this would be side C. So let's write out our formula. Cosine of A equals B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2BC. There's our formula for cosine law for an angle. Now I need to substitute things in. I'm looking for angle A, and just in case you're wondering, you can skip to just substituting things in, but I strongly recommend writing down the formula first. That way you don't mess it up. It's easy to mess up this formula if you write it in right from the beginning, but I think it's easier if you copy the formula down first and then substitute in as your second step. It usually helps prevent little errors. So B in this case is 7 squared plus 5 squared is C minus 10 squared is A divided by 2 times 7 times 5. Great. As we're working through this, make sure that you're doing BEDMAS correctly. Your order of operations needs to be correct. So you're going to do the top and the bottom separately first, sort of like there's extra brackets around the top and the bottom there that you have to do that first. The top here works out to negative 26. The bottom works out to 70, 2 times 7 times 5. And we're still left with cosine of A equals this. Now we can turn that into a decimal by doing that division on our calculator. That works out to negative 0.3714 and a bunch of decimals. I'm going to leave all of those decimals in my calculator because I don't want to round it off too early. Again, this is the cosine of A. If I want to get angle A by itself, I need to take the inverse cosine of that, negative 0.3714. Again, I'm leaving it in my calculator. You can actually just leave it in your calculator and take the inverse cosine of that. Figure out how your calculator works in order to do that. You may need to use the last answer button, looks like ANS, or you may just be able to leave it in there and hit second cos and it'll get it for you. However, in this case, this works out to 111.80 degrees. There's your final answer. 2 decimal places and units. I'm writing these little arrows in there to remind you. You obviously don't need to write them in. You can just leave your final answer in there. But please do remember to round it correctly. Don't round it too early. Have a great day.